Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome to Government House, Canberra. My name is Stephen Brady. I'm the Official Secretary to the Governor-General, and on behalf of the Governor-General of Australia, Her Excellency Ms Quinton Bryce, and her husband, Mr Michael Bryce, it's a great pleasure to welcome you here on this very special day. It's not often in this town that a secret holds, and this one has. We gather for an event of real national significance, the bestowal of a Victoria Cross for Australia. The Victoria Cross for Australia is the preeminent award for acts of bravery in wartime and Australia's highest military honour. It takes precedence over all other orders, decorations and medals. It is awarded to persons who display the most conspicuous gallantry, a daring or preeminent act of valour or self-sacrifice, or extreme devotion to duty in the presence of the enemy. Only 99 Australians have ever been awarded the Victoria Cross, 28 of those posthumously. 6 in the Boer War between 1899 and 1902, 64 in World War I between 1914 and 1918, 9 of which were for Australians at Gallipoli. 2 in North Russia in 1919, 20 in World War II between 1939 and 1945, 4 in Vietnam between 1962 and 1972, and today, the 3rd Victoria Cross for Australia to be awarded for action in Afghanistan. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the arrival of the Governor-General of the Commonwealth of Australia, Her Excellency Ms Quinton Bryce. Your Excellency, to be presented the Victoria Cross for Australia, Corporal Daniel Keighran.
And we honour you. I can be saying true admiration and respect on behalf of all our fellow Australians. Keighran VC. My friends, welcome. Corporal Keighran, welcome. Be assured, if your heart is skipping a beat right now, mine is too, along with every other heart pausing in this moment. You would say you're no different from your mates. It's what you're trained for, what you're there for. It wasn't meant to happen, it just happened. And you did what you had to do. And there were other heroes that day. That's all true, except that what you did that day was different. And acknowledging it here now does not diminish the efforts and sacrifices of those who fought beside you. They need you to be here, because by being here, the story of that day is told. And through it, their stories are told. Corporal, when we listen to the citation that accompanies your award, the imagery is confronting and powerful. Though few of us can fathom it, we see you there in your kit, thinking, running, drawing enemy fire, shepherding and leading, protecting others ahead of yourself, again and again and again. With this medal, your nation honours you. The Victoria Cross for Australia, the most eminent award our country can bestow. Corporal Daniel Keighran, for valour.
It's with a tremendous sense of pride that I am here today to honour Corporal Daniel Keighran. Daniel, Catherine, if I can say something personally to you, we had the opportunity to meet yesterday. It was only for a brief time, but I've left that meeting with a very clear impression of the two of you. And I'm very clear in my impression that pomp and circumstance is not your natural home, and that there are aspects of today that you have probably thought about a great deal and maybe even lived a little bit in trepidation of. I've also left with a very clear impression about your modesty, about the amazing acts of valour that you performed. We are so glad that your spectacular acts of bravery still saw you returned home to us safe and to your family and friends safe. You can tell some remarkable stories. You told me some yesterday about the difference in sound a bullet makes depending on how close it is to your head, and that you were conscious of that in the moment. A remarkable story. Keighran told me that perhaps she didn't really know why you were getting the VC until it was clear that you were getting the Victoria Cross, because you hadn't come home to share that. That was something that you had kept to yourself and to your mates. All of that speaks of a tremendously Australian character. That's who you are, and we honour you today.
Daniel Keighran joins a remarkable elite, the best of the best and the bravest of the brave. Those of us who have relatively safe lives are in awe of those who don't. Those of us who don't serve in the armed forces and who don't put our lives on the line for our country are in awe of those who do. What drives one man, but not others, to repeatedly risk his life for his mates? We don't know, but we salute you, Daniel Keighran, VC, soldier of the 6th Royal Australian Regiment. We honour you, we salute you. You are one of us. We are so proud of you.
The first Victoria Cross for Australia was awarded in January 2009 to then Trooper, now Corporal Mark Donaldson VC, who of course is with us today. The second was awarded to Corporal Ben Robert Smith in January 2011. And Corporal Keighran VC, yours today is only our third to be so awarded. Like Trooper Donaldson and Corporal Robert Smith, you have truly shown us what it means by the words "for valour." Your acts of conspicuous gallantry, devotion to duty, disregard for your own safety in the face of the enemy show us why the Victoria Cross is awarded in recognition of only the most exceptional courage. Today, Daniel Keighran VC, you make your country proud. Today, you make all Australians proud. Today, our nation and our people salute you.
One of my proudest roles as the Chief of the Defence Force is to recognise the outstanding work of the men and women who serve this nation as members of the ADF. The action at Derapet demonstrates there is nothing simple about war. Battles are frightening, confusing and confronting, yet there are also moments of crystal clarity. As we have heard, with little regard for his own safety, Corporal Daniel Keighran deliberately and repeatedly drew intense enemy fire away from other members of the patrol. And despite the enemy bullets biting into the dirt at his feet, he returned fire and provided critical information about the insurgents' positions. Incredibly, he continued to mentor the Afghan National Army soldiers under his care and urged them on. Sadly, the contact at Derapet came at a cost. Lance Corporal Jared McKinney was killed in action, and Corporal Keighran deliberately exposed himself to enemy fire to assist with his comrades' evacuation. Corporal Keighran joins an esteemed group of Australians, revered for their courage in combat. The official citation will show that his valour is in keeping with the finest traditions of the Australian Army and the Australian Defence Force. But perhaps the greatest honour comes from one of his comrades who said, "I would fight to serve with Corporal Dan Keighran in the future." So would the rest of the ADF.